In your headlines, the TCI welcomes another airline and new routes. Grand Turk woman wins Flow's holiday 1-minute shopping spree. And the Ministry of Health and Human Services share COVID-19 tips for the holidays. The PTV Broadcasting Headquarters in Providencial is your #1 source for news. I'm Erica Pinales, delivering the latest from across the country this Tuesday, December 21st, 2021, right to your door. Newswatch starts now. With the holidays being right around the corner, the Ministry of Health and Human Services want to make sure that we're safe. Here's more. A recently obtained press conference from the government press reads, "With the upcoming holiday season fast approaching, persons must ensure that they are safe and healthy in order to make the most of the upcoming festivities. Whether you'll be traveling internationally, regionally, locally, or not traveling at all, it is equally important to ensure the health and well-being of both yourself and those with whom you may come into contact, particularly as it relates to COVID-19. They continued saying, quote, "The best way to protect yourself and your loved ones remains the COVID-19 vaccine, which is readily accessible from all clinics in the TCI at no cost for residents above the age of 12 years. In addition, the TCI has launched the booster vaccine program for persons who received their last dose of the vaccine more than 6 months ago. It is important for those who are eligible for the booster to seize this opportunity to bolster your protection against COVID-19. Please contact your local healthcare provider to get your vaccine and your booster dose," end quote. They share some helpful tips which read, "Protect those not eligible for vaccination, such as young children, by getting yourself and other eligible people around them vaccinated. Wear a well-fitting mask over your nose and mouth if you're in public and indoor settings, especially while around other persons. Even those who are fully vaccinated should wear a mask in public and indoor setting. Outdoors are safer than indoors. Avoid crowded, poorly ventilated spaces. If you're sick or have symptoms, do not host or attend any social gathering. Get tested if you have symptoms of COVID-19 or had close contact with someone who has COVID-19. Call the health hotlines of 331-0911 or 232-9444 to arrange testing. Be reminded to practice physical distancing and frequent hand hygiene." The Ministry of Health and Human Services say, if you're considering traveling, the Ministry of Health recommends that eligible persons are fully vaccinated prior to doing so. All eligible should strongly consider taking their booster. Please familiarize yourself with the entry requirements for any countries you may visit. Persons who are fully vaccinated can apply for their COVID-19 vaccine e-certificate by sending an email to vaccineid@gov.tc to include 2 forms of identification and a copy of the handwritten card issued at the time of vaccination, end quote. They also update us on the following. If you're not fully vaccinated and travel, please be reminded that all unvaccinated residents on their return to TCI are subject to a mandatory 7-day quarantine on their return to the TCI, with a test at the end of the quarantine period, which must be negative before release. Consume alcohol in moderation. Intoxication not only contributes to accidents, but also compliance with health protocols. They also added special considerations which read, persons with underlying medical conditions or on treatment that may weaken their immune system are still vulnerable to COVID-19, even if fully vaccinated. These persons should continue to take all precautions, including wearing a well-fitted mask when around others. If a member of your household or a household that you visit has a weakened immune system or is at an increased risk for severe disease, it is recommended that they themselves and you wear a mask when in contact. If you are gathering with a group of people from multiple households, you should consider implementing additional precautions. Example, avoiding crowded indoor spaces, testing and knowing your COVID-19 status before the gathering to further reduce risk. It is important that everyone takes the necessary precautions to enjoy a safe holiday season this year. Let us work together to keep one another safe and protect those who are vulnerable in our communities. On Sunday, the Turks and Caicos Islands welcomed yet another airline and new routes. Take a look.
Frontier Airlines is now in Turks and Caicos Islands, having landed for the first time Sunday night. Welcoming the airline to the Providenciales International Airport were a number of government officials. On December 19th, the carrier kicked off its weekly Friday service from Orlando to Providenciales, TCI.
Oh, elated to see Frontier coming to our shores. And now, our people, they have a choice in travel. You no longer have to drive to Orlando. You can get to Orlando in just over an hour. So for that, we are thankful and we really appreciate the service that they are going to be providing for us. And I wish them every success.
Frontier has been adding new flights to the Caribbean as fast or faster than any other carrier, with a broad expansion out of airports like Orlando, Miami, and even most recently, Atlantic City.
So we want to give a very warm welcome to Frontier Airlines. We're so pleased that you've chosen Turks and Caicos to start this partnership with. We know that partnership will be mutually beneficial. So welcome. Thank you for coming to Turks and Caicos.
Thank you very much. On behalf of Frontier Airlines, I would like to say thank you to Minister Conley. Very much appreciated for the assistance that you provided, and we are looking forward to a long and prosperous relationship. And thank you for the hospitality at Turks and Caicos. And as a token of our appreciation, I'd like to present to you one of our guest partners. Thank you very much.
For PTV Newswatch, I'm Delana Els.
It's time for a quick break. When we return, more Newswatch.
This is a reminder that all PTV service accounts are due on the first day of each month. Accounts should be brought up to date by the 28th of the month to avoid disruption in service. Payments may be made on our office at Stubbs Diamond Plaza, Providenciales, Mides Plaza, North Caicos, and Airport Road in South Caicos. Payments may also be made online using Scotiabank, CIBC First Caribbean Bank, and Royal Bank of Canada. Please allow 3 business days for online payments to be processed. We thank you for your cooperation.
Welcome back to Newswatch. The government is on a mission to educate the population about their rights as consumers with the launch of a Consumer is King campaign. Take a look.
The Consumer is King campaign aims to raise public awareness about the Turks and Caicos Islands Consumer Protection Ordinance by highlighting the rights of consumers and the obligations of providers. Launched on December 6th at Beaches Resort and Spa, the campaign hopes to promote dialogue on the impact and application of the ordinance, to preclude unfair or misleading business practices, and to prevent the exploitation of vulnerable members of the community. Representing the interests of the business community, the TCI Chamber of Commerce presented on the role of providers towards the implementation of the ordinance, while the Department of Environmental Health spoke to consumer safety issues in the TCI. Immediately following the campaign launch, the Department of Trade hosted a series of informational exchanges across the TCI to educate consumers and providers about their rights and obligations, respectively. The Department of Trade team visited Grand Turk and Salt Key on December 7th, North and Middle Caicos on December 8th, and Providenciales on December 10th. However, due to unforeseen circumstances, the visit to South Caicos was postponed until early January 2022. As the institutional guardian of consumer rights in the TCI, the Department of Trade says they will continue to disseminate information about consumers' rights through its Did You Know series. This series aims to provide easy-to-remember tidbits of information about the ordinance using a variety of media channels. Additionally, it is intended to educate stakeholders about the consumer complaints mechanism. The Department of Trade is also actively promoting its Consumer Protection Jingle Competition. High school students from across the TCI are invited to showcase their creativity by developing a jingle which endorses the slogan, "Consumer protection is everyone's business." The winner of that competition will receive a trophy and $1,500. Additionally, the winning jingle will be used in future promotional activities for the Consumer is King campaign. For PTV Newswatch, I'm Delana Isles.
A popular cruise line is gaining some unwanted attention after docking into Florida, carrying persons who have tested positive with traces of the Omicron variant. And get this, it hits pretty close to home. Take a look.
Nearly 50 persons aboard Royal Caribbean's Symphony of the Seas after making stops to St. Martin, St. Thomas in the U.S. Virgin Islands, and the Bahamas tested positive for COVID-19. 48 passengers and crew members tested positive before the cruise docked at the port of Miami on Saturday, December 18th. A Royal Caribbean spokesperson shared that vaccinations were a cruising requirement for passengers 12 and over, and that all persons who tested positive while on board were immediately quarantined, while 6 of those persons disembarked mid-voyage and were transported home. The 7-night voyage saw stops to a number of countries, including the TCI's neighboring Bahamas, which definitely sends some antennas up as the TCI itself welcomed its first cruise in almost 2 years just last week. Minister of Health Honorable Jamel Robinson, during the Grand Turk Cruise Center's reopening ceremony, reassured the community, though, of the implementation of a number of risk reduction measures, citing the industry's major contributions to the local economy.
The essence of these protocols include pre-boarding and onboarding testing, vaccination requirements for passengers, information sharing between the ship and local health authorities before docking in our waters, and of course, health measures for visitors once they are on shore.
In March 2020, a global no-sail order was implemented and countries felt its effects almost instantaneously. However, officials were left no choice as the cruising industry at the time began to report record-breaking numbers and outbreaks aboard their ships. The Symphony of the Seas, we learned, has already set sail for a new voyage to Mexico.
We'll be right back when we return your sports authority and weather forecast. Sister Craft Market Souvenir Shop. Come and visit us for your travel keepsakes, keychains, artwork, t-shirts, clothing, jewelry, and many more. We're located at the Lower Bight gas station in Providenciales, and you can contact us at 649-341-3070. That's 649-341-3070. Sister Craft Market and Souvenir Shop.
This is a reminder that all PTV service accounts are due on the first day of each month. Accounts should be brought up to date by the 28th of the month to avoid disruption in service. Payments may be made on our office at Stubbs Diamond Plaza, Providenciales, Mides Plaza, North Caicos, and Airport Road in South Caicos. Payments may also be made online using Scotiabank, CIBC First Caribbean Bank, and Royal Bank of Canada. Please allow 3 business days for online payments to be processed. We thank you for your cooperation.
Welcome back to Newswatch. Here's the latest in your weather forecast. Here's your weather forecast for December 22nd, 2021. For the nation's capital, Grand Turk, on Wednesday, sunshine and mixed clouds, high 81, low 74, wind south at 10 to 20 miles per hour. For South Caicos on Wednesday, sunshine and mixed clouds, high 81, low 75, wind south-southwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour. For North and Middle Caicos on Wednesday, partly cloudy skies, high 82, low 74, wind south-southwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour. For Parrot and Pine Key on Wednesday, mostly cloudy skies, high 81, low 74, wind south-southwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. And on Providenciales on Wednesday, mostly cloudy skies, high 81, low 74, winds south-southwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Now for your sunrise and sunset. Sunrise 6:25 a.m., sunset 5:13 p.m., and your high tides and low tides, high tide 9:25 a.m., 9:51 p.m., and low tides 3:03 a.m. and 3:51 p.m. And that's it for your weather forecast. We'll be right back with more Newswatch.
Here at People's Television, we're more than just your leading news and entertainment services. We are
spreading the gospel.
We are breaking barriers.
We are preserving the culture. Each one, teach one.
We are committed to excellence.
We're creating change.
We are creating memories.
We are the future. I am PTV.
I am PTV. I am PTV.
I am PTV.
We are PTV.
We are continuing the legacy. We are PTV.
Civil Dean Morgan, a local who was born and who also grew up in Blue Hills, Providenciales, lives out her childhood dream of bringing Christmas to her community each year. Take a look.
Christmas in Blue Hills. How did I get here? It was through the goodness of God. Christmas in Blue Hills was started on December 24th, 2000. I classed myself as a good thinker. And it was in December of 2000 when I really saw a need for an uplift in my community, Blue Hills, Wheeling. So I began to ponder and wonder and ask myself, what could I do to make the season just a little brighter? My imagination took me to a place where I began to reflect back on my childhood days of how I remembered Christmas.
Morgan says that she wanted to give back to her community not only by giving gifts, but she also wanted to go bigger for a greater community Christmas experience.
Growing up as a child, Christmas was my favorite time of the year, and so I continue to focus on the festive season. It has become my passion, and step by step, each year, Christmas in Blue Hills grew into an island-wide celebration, where people would turn out in record numbers year after year. Without my family, immediate and extended, Christmas in Blue Hills would not have been possible. I have the passion and they give me the drive.
She told Newswatch that without her family, Christmas in Blue Hills, as she calls it, would not be possible.
Each family member have their specific role to play, and they do it well. I am so thankful for them all.
This year marked the 21st year of the Breezy Beach Parade, and she thanked the parents of the kids who participate and have participated in the event over the years, making it worthwhile.
It will be remiss of me if I don't recognize the people of Blue Hills, Wheeling, the parents of the dancers, for their unwavering support over the years. There are some persons who volunteered every year to put all the time needed into helping out in the kitchen and on the grounds. I won't call names, but pat yourselves on the back and say, well done.
Finally, she thanked everyone who makes the event possible each year.
To my supporters and sponsors, the role you've played by giving is indescribable. I am thankful to heavens that you showed your trust in us and sponsored our event over the years. The help you gave was worth it.
A Grand Turk woman can feed her family well into the new year after winning $2,000 worth of grocery during Flo's holiday 1-minute shopping spree. Newswatch brings the highlights.
Marketing manager of Flow TCI, Darren Hilaire, says the magic continues this holiday as the company shows appreciation to their customers. The annual 60-second shopping spree was a blast. Literally, as a Grand Turk grandmother set out on a strategy that would profit her over $2,000 in groceries following the runoff. Here's how Veronica Williams feels about her big win.
I feel very lucky because I had no idea that I was in such a plan.
Right.
Only when Lime called me and told me that, I was real excited about it.
Williams should be able to cook up a number of gracious meals for she and her family well into the new year, with 2 shopping carts filled with meat that she strategically sought out during her 1-minute time slot. But one thing that Newswatch wanted to know was, why all the meat?
No, meat is very expensive. And I told her, let's go to the meat section and we pack up as much meat as we can. You can always buy the other staple things to go along with it. That I went to the store the other day looking for, and I could not afford to buy them. And that is my real chance then to get my hand on them and as much as I could.
Williams says she couldn't do it alone. With help from her grandniece, they were able to not only provide for their households, but to share the items with their friends and other family members, which she says she is most grateful for. She thanks the organizers and all who played a role in the shopping spree. Marketing manager of Flow TCI, Darren Hilaire, says they are celebrating Customer Day over in the nation's capital, and the 1-minute shopping spree is just one of those initiatives to show appreciation to their dedicated customers. The competition is in its 10th year, and officials say it gets better every time.
The Flow Grand Turk 1-minute shopping spree this year was the best we've seen thus far. This year's winner broke the record overall with over $2,000 worth of goods, and so we say congratulations to her on behalf of my country manager, Joanne Mizik, and the whole Flow Turks and Caicos team for her taking away such a lovely prize to enjoy this Christmas.
Flow TCI partnered with Graceway IGA to make the event a success. The recipient for Provo is up next for their 1-minute shopping spree on Wednesday. We'll see how much they are able to take home tomorrow. Flow, for the next few days, will be giving away cash prizes, appliances, and the likes to residents across the country.
That brings us to the end of this edition of The Real News. I hate to leave you so soon, but of course, you can join us right back here every weekday at 6:30 p.m. and tap into our social media platforms at www.ptv8tci.com. I'm Erica Pinales, wishing you happy holidays while keeping you informed, updated, and affiliated. Until next time.